Hey everyone, and welcome to today's deep dive. We're going to be exploring the always fascinating world where finance and technology collide.
Yeah, a world where Bitcoin breaks records, robots are training for marathons,
Hmm.
and AI is making waves like never before.
No kidding. The source material for this deep dive is the Exponential TOM Daily Digest for February 1st, 2025.
Ah, yes, this digest uses AI to pick out the top news in crypto, AI, and robotics. And it does not disappoint.
It really paints a picture of how quickly these fields are changing, especially in how they affect each other.
Definitely.
So let's just jump right in. First up, Bitcoin. Even with the stock market being a little shaky right now, Bitcoin is holding steady above $100,000. It's like it's not even phased by the usual economic worries.
It's really becoming more and more seen as a macro hedge, a safe place to put your money when things are uncertain, like a kind of digital gold.
Right, and it's not just regular people noticing this. Big institutions are getting in on the action too. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, for instance, has brought in a massive $40 billion in investments.
That's a huge indicator of mainstream acceptance. When a company like BlackRock, which is known for being careful with investments, puts its money on Bitcoin, it sends a powerful signal to other institutions. It kind of makes Bitcoin seem like a legitimate asset class.
Yeah, it's like a stamp of approval, one that could really open the door for wider adoption.
Exactly. And that could have some interesting effects on how stable Bitcoin is. More institutional investment usually brings more liquidity to a market, and that can actually help to reduce volatility.
So maybe we're looking at a future where Bitcoin, which used to be famous for its wild price swings, becomes a much more stable asset. But hold on to your hats because this next piece of news is a real game changer. 15 states in the US are thinking about keeping Bitcoin as reserves.
Now, that's a bold move with potentially huge consequences. If even a few states do this, it would make Bitcoin much closer to being a recognized reserve asset,
Hmm.
not just in the US, but globally.
It would really shake up the traditional financial system, wouldn't it? Like, what would it mean for the US dollar if states start putting some of their reserves in Bitcoin?
That's the big question. We might be seeing the very beginning of a major shift in how governments think about and manage their money.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a whole new financial world. Okay, let's shift gears to decentralized finance, or DeFi as it's called. The digest says Uniswap V4 just launched, and it's causing quite a stir.
Oh, Uniswap V4's ability to handle transactions across different blockchains is a big deal. Basically, imagine moving your assets between different blockchain networks without needing to go through a bunch of complicated steps.
So it's kind of like being able to travel to different countries without having to exchange currency.
Exactly. It makes everything smoother for users and connects the entire DeFi world better.
That sounds like a huge plus for DeFi users. But as with any new technology, there are always some hiccups along the way. The digest says some Republican lawmakers want to get rid of the rules that make DeFi transactions have to be reported for taxes. They're saying these rules are stopping innovation and invading user privacy.
It's a classic battle between those who want to see new ideas flourish and those who think regulations are important, to keep consumers safe and stop illegal activity.
It'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. On one hand, you want to support growth in this exciting new field, but on the other hand, you don't want to create a free-for-all where anything goes.
It's all about finding that balance. Speaking of exciting developments, let's talk about some other players in the crypto world. Those alternative coins or altcoins that are always making headlines. The digest says XRP has skyrocketed 511% compared to last year, fueled by rumors of a possible BlackRock XRP ETF.
Whoa, 511%. That's a massive jump. But wait, isn't there some legal uncertainty surrounding XRP?
Yes, there is. The SEC has had a lawsuit going against Ripple, the company behind XRP, for a while now. The outcome of that case could really affect XRP's future.
So this possible ETF is a bit of a gamble then.
You could say that, but if it gets approved, it could open the floodgates for institutional investors who've been hesitant to touch XRP because of the legal worries.
It would be a huge vote of confidence in XRP and could really solidify its place in the crypto market. It looks like Solana might be getting in on the ETF action too. The digest mentions that there's growing speculation about a possible Solana ETF, which could bring a lot of big money into the Solana world if it happens.
Yeah, an ETF would make it easier and safer for big investors to put money into Solana, and that could lead to more development and innovation on the Solana blockchain.
It's amazing to see how the lines between traditional finance and the crypto world are getting blurrier and blurrier. All right, let's move on to the world of artificial intelligence, where things are changing incredibly fast.
Definitely. The digest tells us ChatGPT, OpenAI's language model, now has an incredible 15.5 million paid subscribers. It just shows how popular AI tools are becoming.
It's like AI has suddenly become something everyone knows and talks about. It's hard to keep up with all the new advancements. Speaking of which, the digest mentions a new player called DeepSeek AI, challenging the big names with a powerful, low-cost, and open-source AI model.
This is really interesting. By making its model open source, DeepSeek is allowing more developers and researchers to use it, which could make this powerful technology available to a wider range of people.
That sounds like it could really change things. It could speed up innovation in AI by a lot. But it seems not everyone is happy about this. The digest notes that Texas has banned DeepSeek AI because of worries about national security.
This shows how nervous countries are getting about powerful AI getting into the wrong hands.
It's a tough issue with no easy answers. You want to encourage the creation of powerful AI tools, but you also need to keep your country safe.
Absolutely. It highlights how important it is to have open conversations about AI being developed and used responsibly.
Well, we've covered a lot in crypto and AI, but hold on, there's more. We still have to explore the amazing world of robotics. And this next piece of news will definitely grab your attention. Humanoid robots are getting ready to compete in the Beijing Half Marathon.
This is a captivating demonstration of the advancements in robotic mobility and endurance. It's incredible that robots can participate in such a demanding event.
It really is mind-blowing, isn't it? But what about the real-world implications? Will we see robots running marathons alongside humans anytime soon?
Well, it's still early days, but this event suggests we're moving in that direction. The digest also mentions MIT has developed AI that helps robots adjust to unexpected situations, which is a big step toward using robots in the real world.
So we're not just talking about robots doing pre-programmed tasks in controlled environments anymore.
Exactly. We're talking about robots that can learn, adapt, and react to changes, which makes them more useful for all sorts of jobs.
It seems like the future of robotics is full of exciting possibilities, from running marathons to doing complex tasks in unpredictable environments. Robots are getting more sophisticated all the time.
Absolutely. And as these advancements continue, we have to think about what this means for us ethically and socially.
You're absolutely right. We need to start these conversations now before this technology gets so advanced we can't control it.
And that's why these deep dives are so important, to help us stay informed and have thoughtful discussions about the future.
Well said. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, there's one more exciting thing we need to talk about. The huge amounts of money being poured into the AI sector. The digest mentions that SoftBank is thinking about a $25 billion investment in OpenAI.
Whoa. If they do that, it would be a game-changing investment, potentially one of the largest ever in AI. It shows how committed these big companies are to speeding up AI research and development.
And there's more. Amazon is also making a big investment, putting $16 billion into AI-driven data centers. It seems like the AI race is really heating up.
Absolutely. These investments will likely lead to even faster progress in AI, leading to faster, more powerful, and more dependable AI services.
So everyone, buckle up. We're entering a new era of AI-powered innovation, and it's going to be a wild ride. But we'll be here to explain it all and explore what it means for the future. So stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll go even deeper into what these amazing trends mean.
It's wild to see so much money going into AI, isn't it? It's like a tech race happening right in front of us.
I know, right? It's exciting, but a little scary, too. Makes you wonder how all this will affect everyday people. I mean, it's cool. These big companies are putting billions into AI, but how will it change our lives?
That's the question we should all be asking. I think for most people, it means AI will be everywhere. We're talking about devices that are way smarter, services that are more personalized, maybe even totally new jobs we can't imagine yet.
So it's not just about robots taking over or AI becoming super smart and outsmarting humans.
Well, those are ideas we see in sci-fi movies, but the reality is probably going to be much more complicated. AI and robotics are tools that can help us do things better, not necessarily replace us altogether.
So it's about figuring out how humans and AI can work together, using each other's strengths.
Exactly. Like ChatGPT, for instance. It's not just for writing poems or making funny stories. It can actually help people communicate better, learn faster, even take care of boring tasks, so we have time for more creative things.
So maybe AI can make us more creative and productive instead of holding us back.
Exactly. And the same goes for robots. As they get smarter and better at adapting, they can handle jobs that are dangerous or too hard for us physically. Like Robots doing the hard work so we can use our brains for thinking, feeling, and being creative.
So it's like AI and robots are helping us push the limits of what's possible, both physically and intellectually. But there are always ethical things to think about with powerful technology. We need to make sure these tools are used the right way.
Absolutely. It's super important to have honest conversations about the possible risks of AI and robotics. Things like data privacy, algorithms being unfair, and how it will change the job market.
It's something everyone needs to be a part of. The people making the technology, the people making the laws, experts on ethics, and everyday people. We all have a role to play.
Well said. People who understand these things, like our listeners, are really important. By staying informed, asking tough questions, and demanding transparency, you can help make sure these technologies are used for good.
Let's go back to that record-breaking Bitcoin we talked about. It looks like it's more than just beating a down market. The fact that several U.S. states are thinking about holding Bitcoin as part of their reserves is a big deal. It suggests things might be changing in the global financial world.
It's definitely interesting. Just imagine what would happen if Bitcoin was widely accepted as a real reserve asset. It could challenge regular currencies and maybe even lead to a financial system that's more spread out and less likely to collapse.
It's like we're watching a revolution in money happen, one that gives power to individuals and changes how governments think about money. And then there's the DeFi movement, which is all about decentralization and doing things without permission. It adds another layer of complexity to this changing financial world.
DeFi is pushing the limits of what we can do with money, finding new ways to manage and move it around without needing banks or other traditional systems.
It's exciting to see these new ideas challenge the way things have always been done and making us think differently about finance. But we can't forget about regulations. As we said, there's a debate about how to regulate DeFi without stopping its growth.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. On the one hand, you need rules to protect people and prevent illegal things. But on the other hand, too many rules could stifle innovation and make developers go elsewhere.
It's a conversation that needs to happen worldwide with people from governments, the industry, and the DeFi community itself. We need to find a way to encourage new ideas while keeping the financial system stable and honest.
Absolutely. We were talking earlier about those worries about DeepSeek AI being misused, right?
Yeah, the fact that Texas banned DeepSeek AI because of national security definitely makes you think. It shows the tension between new technology and what governments think is safe.
It's a complex issue, no doubt. We're talking about something that could change a lot of things in our lives for the better. But it also has some risks that come with it.
It's like we're at a crossroads trying to decide how to use AI's power without losing control.
Exactly. We need clear rules and ethical guidelines to make sure AI is developed and used responsibly. And that starts with being open and honest about what could go wrong and what the benefits are.
And this is where informed citizens like our listeners are so important.
Oh, yeah.
Can help shape the future of AI in a good way by understanding the issues and talking about them.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we create together through what we do and the choices we make. So stay informed, stay involved, and keep asking those tough questions.
Speaking of tough questions, I'm curious about something else from the digest. We've been talking about robots doing marathons and all sorts of complex things, but what about how this will affect jobs?
Oh yeah, that's the classic question. Will robots take our jobs? It's a valid concern, and we can't ignore it.
Some people think automation will eliminate tons of jobs, while others say it will actually create new opportunities and help the economy in the long run.
It's not a simple either thing. It's going to be more complicated than that. Some jobs will definitely be automated, but new ones will appear. The key is to be ready to change and learn new things as technology keeps advancing.
So instead of being scared of robots, we should focus on learning the skills that will be valuable in this new world with AI everywhere.
Exactly. Being able to learn new things throughout your life and being adaptable will be super important in the future. We need to be open to the opportunities that AI and robotics bring while also being aware of the possible problems.
It's about finding that sweet spot between new ideas and responsibility, between progress and making sure people are doing well.
Perfectly said. And that's really why we do these deep dives. To explore these complicated topics, to get people talking and thinking about them, and to give our listeners the information they need to make smart choices in this fast-changing world.
Okay, so in this episode, we've covered a lot. Bitcoin breaking records, robots running marathons, AI changing entire industries, and these tech giants investing billions in the future of technology.
It's a lot to absorb, but I hope we've been able to give you some valuable insights.
But wait, there's more. We're not done with this deep dive yet.
Stick with us for part 3, where we'll explore some of the deeper, more philosophical side of these advancements.
Okay, so welcome back to our deep dive into the future of all things finance and technology. I'm really excited to dig into this more philosophical side you mentioned.
Excellent. We've talked about the nuts and bolts of Bitcoin, AI, and robotics, but now let's zoom out and think big picture. What kind of future are we building with all of this?
It's a good question, right? It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of new gadgets and all these amazing breakthroughs, but we also need to stop and think about the long-term impact. What kind of world are we making, and how are these technologies shaping it?
Exactly. One thing that really stands out to me is how much the lines are blurring between the physical world and the digital one. With cryptocurrencies, we're seeing money become digital. And with AI and robotics, physical tasks, even human abilities are being digitized.
So it's like these technologies are breaking down those old walls between what's real and what's virtual.
Exactly. And that changes everything about how we experience the world, how we relate to each other, even how we see ourselves. Think about it. As virtual reality and augmented reality get more advanced, more and more of our experiences are filtered through technology.
It's like we're living in a sci-fi movie, right? But instead of spaceships and teleportation, we've got Bitcoin, AI, and robots.
In a way, yeah. And just like in those stories, we have to deal with the ethical and social consequences of these technologies. Like, how do we make sure that as AI gets more powerful, it's used for good and doesn't turn against us?
It's a question philosophers and ethicists have been debating for ages. How do we make sure AI's goals line up with human values? How do we prevent it from becoming a danger to us?
Those are huge questions and no easy answers. But we need to be asking them now as we're building and using these technologies.
Another thing that strikes me is how fast everything is changing. Every day there's a new breakthrough, a new invention that pushes the limits of what we thought was possible. How do we even keep up with all this change?
Being able to adapt is crucial. And that means being willing to learn new things, let go of old ideas, and learn again throughout our lives. Our education and training systems have to change to keep up with how fast things are moving. We need to encourage people to keep learning their whole lives, to embrace these new technologies and roll with the punches.
So it's not just about learning specific tech skills, but about being a lifelong learner and being ready to grow.
Exactly. Being able to think critically, solve problems in creative ways, and work well with others, those are the skills that will be essential no matter what.
And those are skills that matter in any job, in any field, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
And as these technologies continue to evolve, we need to keep having open and honest conversations about how they affect society. We need to talk about ethics, economics, what could go wrong, and what the benefits are.
It's about finding that balance, embracing what's new, but protecting what makes us human. We can't let fear stop progress, but we can't ignore the possible downsides either.
Exactly. And that's where informed citizens like our listeners are so important. The more we understand these technologies, the better we'll be able to handle the good and the bad that comes with them.
It's about taking charge of our own future instead of letting technology control us. We have the power to make the world we want, but we have to be active and involved to do it.
So, as you're thinking about all we've discussed in this deep dive, I want you to ask yourself, what excites you about the future? What worries you? And most importantly, what part do you want to play in shaping it?
It's a future full of potential, both amazing and a little scary. It's our choice which way we go.
And that's what the deep dive is all about, giving you the knowledge and insights you need to make smart decisions and navigate this crazy world with confidence.
We've come to the end of our deep dive into the future of finance and technology. It's been quite a journey, and I hope it's made you think as much as it's made us think.
Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the discussion going.
Because the future isn't something that just happens to us. It's something we build together. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.